Hello, listeners. Hello, video viewers. Hello, my near and dears. My friends, I have again brought a new chapter to you. In order to continue that series which we had started to improve our English to the advanced level, I have again brought a new chapter to add in that. So, I hope you will be watching, sharing, commenting, as well as you will be enjoying the sessions while reading, while watching the whole video in one go. And I would also suggest you that if you want to make yourself confident in English, so you must go through the all kind of content of English, like English content, all kind of English content, be it newspapers, be it short stories, be it prose, poetry, any type of English content. You should go there, and you should also read aloud, okay, so that you can remember 70% content you read. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe and be the member of this journey, and keep watching our videos and like the video, and keep going with us, keep growing yourself with us. Okay, so come, let us get started from here. This chapter, Going Places, I have brought it from 12th standard book called Prose. Okay, so I will go through the whole chapter while explaining some difficult words meanwhile, and then I will explain every difficult word in Hindi as well. Okay, so that you can understand the whole story, whole chapter thoroughly and very well. Okay, so come, let us get started from here. Here we go. Going Places, A.R. Wharton. A.R. Wharton is the author of this chapter. So have a look about the author in a nutshell. A.R. Wharton is a modern writer who lives in Zurich. Zurich is a city, very famous city in Switzerland, and there are so many other cities are famous like Geneva, Bern. Bern is the capital city of Switzerland. Bern, Zurich, Geneva. These are very famous cities of Switzerland. So he lives in Zurich and writes in English. In the story Going Places, Wharton explores the theme of adolescent fantasizing and hero worship. So have a look about the lesson. This is the nutshell of the chapter. Have a look. The story revolves around a teenage girl, Sophie. So Sophie is a teenage girl. It means he is about 17 or 18 years old. Her family and friends. So this story revolves around the girl and her family and her friends. She is a daydreamer who is always lost in her dreams of becoming rich and sophisticated. Though in reality she is a worker at biscuit factory. So Sophie dreams in days. Daydreamer. She is a daydreamer. So he dreams that she dreams that she must be very sophisticated in upcoming days, and she wants to be rich and very sophisticated and prosperous in her life. So sophisticated means very prosperous. Okay, for example, if you are born in a sophisticated family, it means your family has every kind of resources. Okay, every necessities your family has. So it means very prosperous. Sophisticated means very prosperous. Though in reality she is a worker at biscuit factory. The story suddenly twists up when Sophie makes a wild imagination of meeting Danny Casey. So wild imagination means she is making a vague imagination, a rough imagination, not clear. Okay, very absurd imagination, wild imagination of meeting Danny Casey, a famous footballer. She also makes a story in front of her brother that Casey will come to meet her on a fixed day as per a promise he made to her. So come, let us go through the whole story and find out what would what will happen in the end. So, when I leave, Sophie said, coming home from school, I'm going to have a boutique. Boutique means a shop where you can buy garments or clothes. Jancy, linking arms with her along the street, looked doubtful. Tax money, Soph, something like that. I will find it, Sophie said, staring means gazing far down the street. Take you a long time to save that much. Well, I will be a manager then, yes, of course, to begin with, till I have got enough. But anyway, I know just how it is all going to look. They wouldn't make you manager straight off. So I will be I will be like Mary Conte. Sophie said, I will be a natural. They will see it from the start. I will have the most amazing shop this city's ever seen. Jancy, knowing they were both embarked for the biscuit factory, became melancholy. Melancholy means very sad. She became melancholy. She wished Sophie wouldn't say these things. When they reached Sophie's street, Jancy said, it is only a few months away now. Soph, you really should be sensible. They don't pay well for shop work. You know that. Your dad would never allow it. Or an actress. Now there is real money in that. Yes. And I could maybe have the boutique on the side. Actors don't work full time, do they? Anyway, that or a fashion designer, something a bit sophisticated. And she turned in through the open street door, leaving Jancy standing in the rain. If ever I come into money, I will buy a boutique. If you ever come into money, you will buy us a blessed decent house to live in. Thank you very much. Sophie's father was scooping shepherd's pie into his mouth, and hard as he could go. His plump face is still grimpy and sweat marked from the day. Sweat marked from the day. Sweat means perspiration, or you can say pashina. She thinks money grows on trees, don't she, Dad? Said little Derek, hanging on the back of his father's chair. Their mother's side. Sophia watched her back, stood over over the sink, and wondered at the incongruity of the delicate bow which fastened her apron strings. The delicate seeming bow and the crooked back. The evening had already blacked in the windows, and the small room was steamy from the stove and cluttered with the heavy breathing man in his vest, all the table and the dirty washing piled up in the corner. Sophie felt a tightening in her throat. She bent to look for her brother Goff. He was kneeling on the floor in the next room, tinkering with a part of his motorcycle over some newspaper spread on the carpet. He was 3 years out of his school, an apprentice mechanic, traveling to his work each day to the far side of the city. He was almost grown up now, and she suspected areas of his life about which she knew nothing, about which he never spoke. He said little at all, ever voluntarily. Voluntarily means knowingly और अपने आप से ही, इच्छा से, voluntarily, knowingly और willingly. Voluntarily means willingly. Words had to be prized out of him like stones out of the ground, and she was jealous of his silence. When he wasn't speaking, it was as though he was away somewhere, out there in the world, in those places she had never been, whether they were only the outlying districts of the city or places beyond in the surrounding country. Who knew? They attained a special fascination simply because they were unknown for her and remained out of her reach. Perhaps there were also people, exotic, interesting people of whom he never spoke. It was possible, though he was quiet and didn't make new friends easily. She longed to know them. She wished she could be admitted more deeply into her brother's affections, and that someday he might take her with him, though their father forbade it, and Geoff had never expressed an opinion. She knew he thought her too young, and she was impatient. She was conscious of a vast world out there waiting for her, and she knew instinctively that she would feel as at home there as in the city which had always been her home. It expectantly awaited her arrival. She saw herself riding there behind Geoff. He wore new, shining black leathers, and she a yellow dress with a kind of cape that flew out behind. There was the sound of applause as the word rose to greet them. He sat frowning at the oily component he cradled in his hands, as though it were a small dumb animal and he was willing to speak. I met Danny Casey, Sophia said. He looked around her abruptly. Where? In the arcade? Funnily enough, it is never true. I did too. You told that? She shook her head and chastened at his unawareness that he was always the first to share her secrets. I don't believe it. There I was looking at the clothes in Royce's window when someone came and stood beside me, and I looked around, and who should it be but Danny Casey? All right, what does he look like? Oh, come on, you know what he look like? Close to, I mean. Well, he has green eyes, gentle eyes, and he is not so tall as you would think. She wondered if she should say about his teeth, but decided against it. Their father had watched when he came in, and his arms were shiny and pink, and he smelled of soap. He switched on the television, tossed one of the little Drake's shoes from his chair onto the sofa, and sat down with a grunt. Sophie met Danny Casey, Geoff said. Sophie wrinkled where she was sitting at the table. Her father turned his head on his thick neck to look at her. His expression was one of disdain. It's true, Geoff said. I once knew a man who had known to Tom Fanny, his father said reverently to the television. What? What, that was a long time ago. You told us, Geoff said. Casey might be that good someday. Casey might be that good someday. Better than that even. Better that even. He is the best. If he keeps his head on his shoulders, if they look after his properly, a lot of distractions from a youngster in the game these days. He will be alright. He is with the best team in the country. He is very young yet. He is older than I am. Too young really for the first team. You can't argue with that sort of ability. He is going to buy a shop, Sophia said from the table. Her father grimaced. Where would you hear that? He told me so. He muttered something inaudible and dragged himself around in his chain. His another of your wild stories. This another of your wild stories. She met him in the arcade, Geoff said, and told him how it had been. One of these days, you are going to talk yourself into a load of trouble, her father said aggressively. Geoff knows it is true, don't you, Geoff? He don't believe you. You though, he would like to. The table lamp cast an umber glow across her brother's bedroom wall and across the large poster of United's first team squad and the row of colored photographs beneath, three of them of the young Irish prodigy Casey. Promise you will tell no one, Sophie said. Nothing to tell, is there? Promise, Geoff. Dad had murdered me. Dad would murder me. Only if he thought it was true. Please, Geoff. Sophia, you are still at school. Casey must have strings of girls. No, he doesn't. How could you know that? He jeered. He told me that is how. As if anyone would tell a girl something like that. Yes, he did. He isn't like that. He is quiet. Not as quiet as all that, apparently. It was nothing like that, Geoff. It was the spoke first. It was me spoke first. When I saw who it was, I said, "Excuse me, but aren't you Danny Casey?" And he looked so sort of surprised, and he said, "Yes, that's right." And I knew it must he him because he had the accent, like when they interviewed him on the television. So I asked him for an autograph for little Derek, but neither of us had any paper or a pen. So then we just talked a bit about the clothes in Roy's window. He seemed lonely. After all, it is a long way from the west of Ireland. And then, just as he was going, he said, "If I would care to meet him next week, he would give me an autograph then." Of course, I said I would. As if he would never show up. You do believe me? No, don't you? He dragged his jacket, which was shiny and shapeless, from the back of the chair and pushed the arms into it. She wished he paid more attention to his appearance, wished he cared more about clothes. He was tall, with a strong dark face, handsome. She thought, it is the unlikeliest thing I ever heard, he said. On Sunday, they made their weekly pilgrimage to which united Sophia and her father and little Derek went down near the goal. Soph, as always, went with his mates higher up. United won 2-0 and Casey drew, drove in the second goal, a blend of innocence and Irish genius, going around the two big defenders on the edge of the penalty area with her father screaming for him to pass and beating the hesitant golfkeeper from a dozen yards. Sophia glowed with pride. Afterwards, Geoff was ecstatic. I wish he was an Englishman, someone said on the bus. Ireland's win the World Cup. Little Derek told his mother when Sophia brought him home. Her father was gone to the pub to celebrate. What is this you have been telling? Jancy said next week. About what? Your Geoff told our Frank you met Danny Casey. This wasn't an inquisition. Inquisition. Just Jesse being nosy. But Sophia was startled. Oh, that Jessie found, sensing she was covering. Yes, that yes, I did. You never did, Jancy exclaimed. Sophie glared at the ground. Damn that Geoff. This was a Geoff thing, not a Jancy thing. It was meant to be something special just between them. Something secret. It wasn't a Jancy kind of thing that all. Tell Gawky Jancy something like that, and the whole neighborhood would get to know it. Damn, that Geoff was nothing sacred. It is a secret, meant to be. I will keep a secret, Soph. You know that. I was going to tell anyone. There will be a right old row in my dad gets to hear about it. Jancy blinked. A row. I would have thought he would be cuffed as anything. She realized then that Jancy didn't know about the deadweight. Geoff hadn't told about that. She breathed more easily. So Geoff hadn't let her down after all. He believed in her after all. After all, some things might be sacred. It was just a little thing, really. I asked him for an autograph, but we hadn't any paper or a pen, so it was not good. How much had Geoff said? Jesus, I wish I would have been there. Of course, my dad didn't want to believe it. You know what a misery he is. What a misery he is. But the last thing I need is queues of people round our house asking him, What is all this about, Danny Casey? He would murder me. And you know how my mum gets when there is a row? Jancy said, hushed. You can trust me, Soph. You know that. After dark, she walked by the canal along a sheltered path, lighted only by the glare of the lamps from the wharf across the water, and the uneasy drone of the city was muffled and distant. It was a place she had often played in when she was a child. There was a wooden bench beneath a solitary elm where lovers sometimes came. She sat down to wait. It was the perfect place. She had always thought so for a meeting of this kind, for those who wished not to be observed. She knew he would approve. For some while waiting, she imagined his coming. She watched along the canal, seeing him come out of the shadows, imagining her own consequent excitement. Not until some time that elapsed did she begin balancing against this the idea of this not coming. Here I sit, she said to herself, wishing Danny would come, wishing he would come, and sensing the time passing. I feel the pangs of doubt stirring inside me. I watched for him, but still there is no sign of him. I remember Geoff saying he would never come, and how none of them believed me when I told them. I wonder that I will do. What can I tell them now? It is if he doesn't come. But we know how it was, Danny and me. That's the main thing. How can you help what people choose to believe? But all the same, it makes me despondent. This knowing I will never be able to show them they are wrong to doubt me. She waited, measuring in his way of changes taking place in her. Resignation was no sudden thing. Now I have become sad, and she thought, she thought, and it is a hard burden to carry. This sadness, this sadness. Sitting here, waiting and knowing he will not come. I can see the future and how I will have to live with this burden. They, of course, will doubt me, and they always doubted me. But I will have to hold up my head, remembering how it was. Already I envisage the slow walk home, and Geoff's disappointed face when I tell him I didn't come, he didn't come, that Danny, and then he will fly out and slam the door. But we know how it was. I shall tell myself, Danny and me. It is a hard thing, this sadness. She climbed the crumbling steps to the street outside the pub. She passed her father's bicycle propped against the wall, and was glad he would not be there when she got home. Excuse me, what aren't you Danny Casey? Coming through the arcade, 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 she pictured him again outside Royce's, Royce's, Royce's. He turns, reading slightly. Yes, that's right. I watch you every week. with my dad and any my brothers. When we think you are great, oh well, no, that's very nice. I wonder, would you mind signing an autograph? His eyes are on the same level as your own. His nose is freckled and turns upwards slightly, and when he smiles, he does so shyly, exposing teeth with gaps between. His eyes are green, and when he looks straight at you, they seem to shimmer. They seem gentle, also afraid, like a gazelle's, and you look away. You let his eyes run over you a little, and then you come back to find them slightly breathless. And he says, I don't see to have a pen at all. You realize you haven't either. My brother will be very sorry, you say. And afterwards, you wait there alone in the arcade for a long while, standing where he stood, remembering the soft, melodious voice, the shimmer of green eyes, no taller than you, no older than you, the prodigy, the innocent genius, the great Danny Casey, and she saw it all again last Saturday. Saw his ghost past and lumbering defenders. Hear the 50,000 catch their breath as he hovered momentarily over the wall, and then the explosion of sound as he struck it crisply into the goal. The sudden thunderous eruption of exultant approbation. So this was all about this chapter mean. So have a look about the difficult words here. Amazing means wonderful. Melancholy means sad. On the side, as on extra work. Okay, sophisticated means decent, or you can say very prosperous. Come into means go to gain. Decent means beautiful. Shepherd's pie means a dish. Shepherd's pie, a dish, a type of food. Grimpy, dirty. Grimpy means dirty. Stooped, bent down. Incongruity, inappropriateness. Okay, delicate means tender. Fasten, to join. Crooked, went. Heavy breathing, loud breathing. Piles, hips. Tinker, repair. Apprentice, beginner. Okay, voluntarily means willingly. Attain, to get. Fascination, attraction, fascinate. This thing is fascinates you. It means it attracts you. Fascinate. Exotic means unusual and exciting. Long, wish, desire. Longing, okay, wish, long, wish, desire. Impatient, without patient. Conscious, aware. Vast, weak. Instinctively, from institution. Expectantly, eagerly. Applause, appraise, praise. Component, a part of machine. Cradle, put, place. Abruptly, suddenly. Share, to disclose. Disdain, hate. Reverently, respectfully. Drag, pull. Lots of. Aggressively means angrily, aggressive, very angry. Cast, throw. Umber, yellowish brown. raw, horizontal line, apparently, clearly. As accent means intonation, lahja, intonation, accent. Unlikeliest, least possible. Maths, friends, draw in, scored, blend, mixture, glow, shine, startle, get surprised. Gawky, gawky means awkward, gawky. Chuffed, chuffed means very pleased, chuffed. Row, quarrel, row means quarrel, quarrel. Row, row means quarrel. Nosy, very curious. Hushed, hushed, said very slowly, hushed. Sheltered, protected, glare, shine, unceasing, unstopping, drawn, buzzing. Muffled, muffled means receded. Solitary, lonely, consequent, as a result. Elapsed, passed. Envisage, think, slam, knock, crumbling, quavering, picture, visualize, shilly, modestly, melodious, sweet, hover, to stay over, crisply, quickly, crisply, thunderous, very noisy, eruption, outburst, exultant, triumphant, approbation, approval. This was all about this chapter mean. I hope you have understood. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time.